how do you marry this need for hard work with the insights that you have around envisioning your future?
I don't. I just want to define hard work first, because I think I don't see hard work as the way people see hard work. I mean, I'm a very immersive person, so if I'm going to get good at something, I'm going to put my mind, my body, my heart and soul behind whatever it is I'm going to do. And I do that because I like it. You know, I like to learn, I like to experience, I like to grow. And I think you can get really good at doing it one way. In the hard work, all the stuff we talked about, get really good at doing it and become successful, and then have just about everything you want. But you may not truly have happiness. You just may have a lot of things, and you got really good at doing it, right? Okay, so for me, I said, there's got to be another way. There's got to be another way to do it that's different than the way that I've done it. I've gotten really good at doing that. Is there another way to create where I don't actually have to go and do something? If I could change my energy, and I've been at this long enough to tell you that nobody changes until they change their energy. If I change my energy, will my life change? That's kind of the experiment that I'm interested in. Okay, so what piece of knowledge, what piece of information, let me find the information that can help me build the model of understanding that this is actually possible. Now, I'm not watching Netflix, I'm not watching Ted Lasso, I'm not watching Suits, I'm not watching the news, I'm not watching the game. I'm reading this information because I want to understand the what and the why. Okay, now I got it. Okay, quantum physics says, Einstein says, the field is the sole governing agency of the particle. The field controls the particle. The particle doesn't control the particle. Energy controls matter. Okay, all right, let me build this model a little bit further. Okay, If the field is the sole governing agency of the particle, then it's not matter that's emitting the field. It's actually a field that's actually slowing down in frequency and creating matter. Okay, I'm telling you all this because I'm using quantum physics as a way to help us understand that mind and matter are inextricably combined. It's impossible to separate the two. Okay, well, it works on the very tiny level of subatomic particles, but can it work on a greater level? Can you make real life events happen in your life and collapse the wave function? Okay, well, if I'm matter trying to change matter, if I'm Joe Dispenza, aware that I'm local in space and time, immersed in the illusion of this virtual reality experience, this hologram, then I got to play by the rules of Newtonian physics, which you got to predict and plan and do a lot of things. Okay, what if I could get to the field? What if I could become pure consciousness and be aware of nothing physical and material, become nobody, become no one, in nothing and nowhere and no time, become pure consciousness and move to that realm beyond space and time? Okay, let me just say, okay, if I could get there as pure consciousness and I'm not aware of my body, not aware of my environment, not aware of time, and I'm in the field, okay, what are the principles of the field? Everything's connected, everything's frequency, everything's energy. There's less separation, there's more wholeness. Okay. So if I could get to the field and I can create from the field instead of from matter as an experiment, could I then begin to produce changes in the field that ultimately would change the hologram in three-dimensional reality? Okay, so I may not be very good at it at the beginning, so it's going to take some unlearning and changing my beliefs about a lot of things and studying to make sure that when I do it, that I know what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Okay, so nothing happens. Do I go back to just going back the other way, or am I just not that good? So maybe I'm just not that good yet. Like maybe I got to get better at it. So I'm going to practice again. I'm going to keep building my model through experience. And then all of a sudden you start noticing changes. Now, the hard work was worth the effort when I start seeing the effects that it creates in my life. So I think that there's a delicate balance between intention, and that's getting clear on what you want, and surrender. Which means trusting in the outcome. And if you overintend, you're working really hard and you're trying really hard. And if you oversurrender, you're lazy and lethargic and you're not doing anything, right? So it's kind of a razor's edge when you talk about hard work, because for me, it really is about building a model of understanding and then being able to immerse myself in the experience to prove to myself that it actually could be the truth. So the hard work is just good, clean effort and getting so lost in the act of what you're doing that the act actually becomes the experience. I know that for me, when I get to that point where I've stretched myself past the point where I normally stop, especially in a meditation, if I go one more time, it's always worth the effort. Something changes when I go past that point. So, and I think that works in all kinds of ways. So, I think hard work for me is just immersing myself in it until I start seeing effects.
There's a line from Machiavelli where he says, God doesn't want to do everything. Some of it is up to you. I think that's a nice blending of those two.
Yeah.
I have another friend who, we were at a party, my birthday party actually last year, and we were walking back toward his car, who was parked nearby, and he was going to give me a lift home. And I was waiting for him to beep the car so that I could get in. And he didn't, and the door was open. So, did you not lock your car? And he says, I don't lock my car. That's interesting. Why don't you do that? And he says, I'm not sure, man. The universe just has my back. And locking your car, I think that's a sufficient low lift that you might as well do it anyway. But that line really stuck with me. The universe has my back. And the times when I feel like that's the case, the times when I feel like I'm swimming downstream, not upstream, life's better.
Yeah.
Undeniably, life's better.
Well, you may have to put 10 in and get 1 out in the beginning. And then if you stick with it, you put 1 in and you get 10 out. And that's when it gets fun.
So there'll be a lot of people listening who, again, the people who pray at the altar of raw cognition, right? Very, very utilitarian, materialistic. That left brain is always on. How can they learn to expand their view of what contributes to happiness and well-being and fulfillment and achievement in life? What would you say to the person who's still unsure?
Well, I think it was last year we were at an event, a week-long event, and we do a lot of walking meditations because you got to be able to stand as it, walk as it, sit as it, lay down as it. And so we do a lot of walking meditations to embody it. And it was in Cancun, Mexico. There was 2,200 people at that event. We were on the beach at sunrise. The sun was coming up. It was one of the last meditations, and I looked at all these people, and they were facing the sun. They had their hands over their heart, and their eyes were closed. And so many of them had tears of joy rolling down their face. They were so incredibly joyful, so incredibly grateful, so worthy in that moment. And I realized, my God, nobody is making them happy in that moment but them. And I think when we hit these points where we finally break free from the chains, of our own limitations, I think when we overcome the emotional addictions that keep us tormented and reliving the past, I think that the overcoming of those emotional addictions, the side effect is joy. It's the freedom of expression without feeling limited in any way. And I can tell you that, again, this is only my experience, but when I look at an audience of people, at the end of 7 days, and I always tell them, nobody's making you happy but you. And all you've done is decided who not to be and who to be. And you've sat with yourself long enough to change that. So when people do that and they get to that point where they're worthy to receive, they showed up enough times when they could have laid in bed or skipped a meditation, but they didn't, that they kept showing up. I think the universe only gives us what we think we're worthy of receiving, right? And so the person who's feeling that level of happiness, that level of joy because they've made themselves happy, then they're okay with you and they're okay with everybody. And I think that's the important point, is that when we overcome ourselves, the side effect of that is true joy.
In other news, this episode is brought to you by Momentous. A lot of supplements say that they're top quality, but very few can actually prove it. And Momentous has the most rigorous third-party testing of any supplement company that I've ever found. Andrew Huberman is the scientific advisor for them. My favorite product from them is their sleep pack, which contains everything that you need for a good night's sleep, including magnesium L3, threonate, apigenin, and L-theanine in the optimal doses to help you get a better, deeper, more restful night's sleep. This is all that you need. You can throw it in your bag, you can take it with you on the road, or you can just take it every single evening. It's made a massive difference to the quality of my sleep. Best of all, they've got a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can buy anything and try it for 29 days. And if you don't like it, they will give you your money back. They ship internationally, and you can get free US shipping on orders over $75. Right now, you can get a 20% discount on everything site-wide by going to the link in the description below or heading to livemomentous.com/modernwisdom using the code modernwisdom at checkout. That's livemomentous.com/modernwisdom and modernwisdom at checkout. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed that clip with Joe, you will love the full-length 3-hour-long podcast in all its glory right here. Go on, give it a tap.